another thing that can be a point of contention is Jesus says to not call people a fool. It says in Matthew 5, he says, whoever says you fool shall be guilty enough to go into fiery hell. So, and actually the Greek of that word is the root word for the word moron. So,
What scripture are you talking about?
What?
Matthew 5 what?
Matthew 5:22. The end.
At the end.
No, that's like halfway through though.
Right there.
What was it?
Matthew 25, 22.
No, Matthew 5.
22.
Okay, I went to 25, 22 on my.
Huh,
It's not
the
the
man
same.
with 2 bags of gold also came. She's like, you fool with the bag.
So Jesus says this, but then he also, like, there are also other instances in Scripture where people are called fools, you know. For example, like David wrote, "The fool has said in his heart there is no God." So that's David calling people fools for saying there is no God.
I don't think so.
What do you mean? He literally uses the word fool.
He's not calling someone a fool, he's saying fools do this.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
is, if you do that, then
Yeah. It's like
that's foolish.
it's like when I was describing what God hates. Well, actually, no, that's different. Never mind.
I feel like
Yeah,
he's just
like,
describing.
He was describing in the abominations, like the sins. He's not calling people what he detests.
I think
Makes
that this is kind of off topic, but not off topic. It's on topic. It's a different argument. I think that when you're defending God, it can be harsh because God is God, and like you need to respect His name. Like there's a lot of times in the Old Testament when people who like disrespected the temple were struck dead,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty intense. So I feel like what Jesus did is like the same thing. It's actually not even as intense. And since he literally was God, I think he had the right to do that.
So you think him doing that was justified because he was God?
Yeah.
So no one else could do that but Jesus.
No, that's not necessarily. But I'm saying, like, there have been instances when God responded really harshly to the temple being disrespected, so it makes sense to me why Jesus would do that and it wouldn't be sin. If other people did that, I don't know. I think it's a slippery slope. I think it could easily turn into a fit of rage, and then they could just get caught up in it and then start sinning. So I think, yeah, that's what I think.
So if someone, hypothetically, a human, did the same thing that Jesus did, but were not caught up in a fit of rage, and not driven by their anger, would it be sinful?
No.
Or so hypothetically, a human who was not God could have done the exact same thing, and it would not have been sinful. Because they did it for God.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Tell me where in the Bible it says that malice deeds are justified when they are done for God.
It wouldn't be malice, though. It would be cleaning out his temple. How is that malice?
But because he wrecked a lot of merchandise.
Well,
But he only knew that was right because he was God.
the intention behind it wasn't to hurt those people. It was to respect God.
Okay,
So it
so
wasn't malintent.
so if someone, historically speaking, actually, because of the Crusades, massacred a ton of people because in their heart they believed they were doing it for God.
That's it.
Okay, so
It was malintent.
but
They were hurting people.
but their intent was not to hurt people. Their intent was to bring people to
I
God.
think it was a little bit. They said they would convert or they would die.
Right.
Which is pretty malintent in my opinion. You're not supposed to do that.
Okay. So
I have a scripture.
okay.
Proverbs 21, 2-3.
Yeah, I'm forgiven.
Hey.
It says, I'll go to NIV, it's easier. A person may think their own ways are right, but the Lord weighs the heart. To do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. So like people always think that they're right.
Yeah.
So like even if they think what they're doing is right in God's eyes, only God gets to decide if that's right or not, I guess.
Right. And Jesus could have done that because he was God.
Mm-hmm.
But then now the argument is, can humans do it even though they're not God? And they don't know what God would want them to do.
I think in that situation, you might have to take, you would have to take anything that would be clouding your judgment out of your mind. And anger clouds your judgment a lot. So
Yeah.
I think that's why it's kind of like, I don't think you could really be angry when you did something because
Yeah.
that really clouds your judgment.
Okay.
And you'd have to like really like hear from God
Mm-hmm.
that you're supposed to do something like that.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you have to know. So if there's anything distracting you, such as anger, then you wouldn't be sure, and that would be
Okay, so as long as you're
confusing.
angry, you're not in the right when you do things.
No, I'm just saying that that's like a. I mean, sure, maybe someone could do it, be completely hearing from God and not distracted by their anger. Maybe for most people, probably not. So I think that it would just depend on the person. Like for me, I couldn't be angry
Uh-huh.
because I have anger issues.
Right.
So I would definitely start sinning.
Uh-huh.
But if someone was very calm and logical,
Mm-hmm.
they might not be distracted by it. They might still be able to hear from God.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. In the Bible, it says, in your anger, do not sin, which means we shouldn't be angry whilst doing things because it clouds your judgment.
Yeah.
So then where does the term righteous anger come in? Quite literally saying that you are angry, but it's righteous.
See, I'm trying to find this.
You looking for a certain passage?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I can't even remember what it was, but I heard like a while ago that David one time,
Interesting.
someone was like slandering God, and he like responded really harshly to it.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
know exactly who
I'm
you're
trying to
talking
find
about.
that because it's like, and then he's like revered for that because it's like he can't let people slander God.
Is it the one that they're sent through the crack? In the end?
They're sent through the crack.
Like God opens up the earth, sent through a hole, and then that one or a different
I
one?
don't. See, I don't really remember.
Was it with when Moses was still leading them?
No, because it was David.
Oh, it was David?
Yeah.
God, this, remember?
I didn't hear what she said at the beginning.
I heard this. Maybe that I don't even know. I heard in like a sermon once about this time when someone was like slandering God and David responded really harshly to it, and I think he like killed them or something.
Okay.
Oh.
But it's like,
So,
but I don't know where that is.
but was
so-
he angry though?
There was a time
What a
when
man.
his son pushed him out of the kingdom and made himself king, and
Yeah.
as he was
absolutely.
leaving, there was this dude who kept like throwing curses at him, but he didn't kill him until after he
Was he throwing
became
curses?
king again.
What about the
Wait,
ball?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't think that's what I heard. Wait, was he throwing curses at God?
No, just David.
What about the bald guy with the what they call him? That one guy bald. Isai.
What about that guy that like couldn't curse the people of
Elijah?
Israel?
Oh, were the two female bears mauled teenagers because they called them
47.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is
I'm
off
just
topic.
saying.
Oh, that's actually a great example. Was that just anger? I don't think there's anything righteous about that.
No, like he didn't send the bears. God did.
Oh, okay,
That's the
a good
thing.
So
point.
it is
God
righteous.
responds really harshly sometimes
Mhm.
to disrespect.
So is the code of law different for are moral laws different for God than for humans because He's all powerful?
No,
But you
but
just
there's
said
certain things that you just can't do.
It does because
Right,
he lost his
Disrespect
mind.
God,
Well, exactly.
which is different than disrespecting
This is
another
because
human
basically
being.
the
Yeah,
same question
so
we were gonna do.
You can't disrespect.
But-
Well, you can't
not
disrespect
quite.
either.
Yeah,
Similar.
but
But-
also like
I'm awful.
you really can't disrespect God.
Well,
You
yeah.
shouldn't do either. They're both sin.
You shouldn't do either.
You know,
They're
we-
not preferable.
Yeah.
I feel like we could have a whole discussion on does God have different morals kind of thing, or like.
Our morals.
God
worldly-
created morals, though.
But does
Well,
his rules the same as our rules kind of thing?
well, exactly. I actually had a debate with someone who calls God a mass murderer because he wiped out everyone except for Noah and his family.
I mean, by definition, yes, murdered the masses. But is it murder?
Is it-
Oh.
No, because
Justified
God's
killing?
just. He's just, and in order to be just,
You're so
people
off
need
topic.
to get punished.
That's true.
Right.
We're going off topic.
Right.
So-
And it says in the Bible, you punish those that you love. So,
Well, a human couldn't do that. They couldn't just decide, well, everyone on earth is sinful, therefore I must kill all of them.
Well, what about judges?
no, but sometimes
They
God would
decide
tell
the sentence.
humans that he was going to do that, and
Well,
they would
This is
persuade him out of it.
off-topic.
Oh, that's another thing.
So, like when he was going to kill all the Israelites, and Moses said no.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
That was pretty good.
Although they said
Which
they
time?
died.
but did that actually change his mind?
I mean, well, did God already know how many sinful people are there? He's like, well, I mean, there still aren't 10 people. Like, so I'm not-
Kill 'em and start
really no harm. But and do judges kind of make the decision whether someone deserves death or not?
Well, like, in order for God to be just, he has to punish people who are sinful,
right.
and he does that.
Yes. So then his moral law is different than ours because we can't make the executive decision to mass murder a bunch
That's
of
right.
people, but only God can do that.
Yeah.
So then
That
his
doesn't make his morals different than ours, it just means he's the judge.
I mean, I think it's kind of
Well-
like in Job, is God just or unjust? Well, we don't really understand God, and, he has all this knowledge that we don't.
But also
Well,
it
we can't.
specifically said that God gave Jesus, remember the study? God
Yes.
gave Jesus the authority to judge, and we do not have it. But that doesn't have anything to do with morals. It just means we can't kill somebody
right.
and
So-
have it be just because they deserve
But God
it.
can. So therefore his morals are different than
Or
ours.
is it just because he has
No.
more power? Like,
He's
God
just
has
the
the power.
judge.
Like, Jesus had the power to walk on water. I'm not going to go outside and walk on water. It doesn't mean that I have different morals. It's just,
Yeah,
Well, that's
it
because that has nothing to do with anything morally.
Him being the authority on what's right and wrong does
He could
not.
take the actions, but we can't.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that his morals are different. That means that he's
Mhm.
executing the morals that we're supposed to be living by.
Mhm.
He's the judge of the morals. So he's living by the morals. He's on different morals.
Okay.
Hmm.
He's just legislating the morals.
Okay.
Wait, so earlier when we were talking about Jesus whipping people in the courts, was that just a
He was
punishment?
whipping people?
He made a whip out of cords.
Oh, so
Was that just a punishment? Was that not
Well,
like
he
a
made a
fit of
whip.
rage?
He made a whip, yeah.
Wait, where?
So he was.
He sat in the temple.
Are you
and
saying that or are
started
you
braiding a
asking
whip
that?
out of rope. Yeah.
I'm kind of saying
Huh?
Okay, so you're saying he was rather punishing them rather than having a fit of rage.
yeah.
When I found this out,
Um,
I was,
Okay. Wow, that's So then God and Jesus do have a different moral because they can punish people. But if we did that,
They
that would
got
be wrong.
no, it's just
Yeah,
they're the
they're
judge. They have the authority.
So because they're the judge, their moral code is different.
no. They're the judge. Listen, okay.
They're the leader.
They're the judge.
Yeah, leaders
So
can punish the followers.
yeah, no,
That's
listen.
true.
The priest of that temple could have done
It's
that
like
too.
how David sent
What?
that guy to. Well,
God
no,
is a just God, so he needs to punish people. Okay?
Right. Yes. Yes.
But it says in the Bible that only he has the authority to do that, but that does not mean that it is a different moral code. It just means that he's the only one who can uphold our moral code. Like, he's the judge.
Uh huh.
So, like, we don't have... It has to do with authority.
So
not
only God
morals.
can take action on wrongdoers, and we cannot.
We can't judge them guilty.
Well,
We can't condemn them to hell.
Well,
Well-
it's kind of like how we don't take revenge against someone who wronged
Yeah,
us
that-
because
yeah.
we know God's gonna do it, kind of thing.
Anything
Right.
in that realm is just like, you know?
mm-hmm. So God can take action, but we cannot.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, like, he can tell someone to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But that's them following God. That's not them
Right.
judging
Yes.
from their own will.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's not in our authority to be like, you are a sinner, you are condemned to hell. Like, we can't do that.
Mm-hmm. You cannot do that.
It's not. But we have the same, like, God created our morals. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's right and wrong.
Right.
What's right is what God is,
Uh-huh.
and what's wrong is everything else. So,
Right. So circling back to righteous anger,
Yeah.
does this mean because God is the judge and Jesus is the judge, then only they can have righteous anger and we cannot?
No.
Explain.
No, I don't think so because that's a different thing. That's specifically being the judge of people's sins. Righteous anger is different.
Okay.
It's not judging someone. It says you should hate what God hates, and like there's verses that say break my heart, what breaks yours. So
Right.
It's like
Right.
we're
Yeah.
supposed to like be that in touch with God
Mm-hmm.
that we feel the same thing He does.
Mm-hmm. So your definition of righteous anger is being angry but not acting on your anger.
It depends how you act on your anger.
Yeah.
So the way you act on your anger is what's within the bounds of righteous anger?
Why are you taking actions on your anger?
Jesus did.
Yeah, why?
Because it grieved him to see the Lord's house like that in that state.
Okay, what was...
Wait, so then was he taking his anger out? No, not anger. Was he acting based on his grief rather than his anger?
You could ask him yourself when you're in heaven.
That's not okay. That's I should go to the bathroom.
Continue.
So it's anger.
She runs from the problem. She's going to sneak out the
I'm
window.
not. I have to leave.
There is a window on the. No. How is such a weird?
So you run out the back.
Just shelter the fence. You know, it never said in the Bible that Jesus went to the bathroom. So if you think about it,
Bro,
I'm just kidding.
Sacrilege.
Have you ever watched movies and you really question when they go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that would like ruin the movie.
Well, I've thought about like when people are doing those world records of like, I did a plane for 11 hours. When did you go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not topic. Yeah. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where are we going with this?
Why do bad things happen to good people? Oh no, that's not it.
No one is good, not even one. So bad things happen to bad people.
No, we are
God.
good. All
God.
things is good.
What?
Good is good.
Good
bad
is
is bad is bad. No one is good. But God.
I mean, humans are good.
God clearly favors people that obey Him.
Yeah, that's true. But these are all topics that could be so another time
Not really.
because it's so complicated.
That's why
Not-
we're here, and we're here to figure out the complicated topics.
Just remember, yeah, everything is very
Very good.
or humans are very good.
It's just a personal problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so you keep bringing up examples where they're not only, like, the person is not only angry, but they act on that anger. Do you have any examples where they're just angry?
Ooh.
Because the point of contention isn't really like whether they're angry or not. Because I think anger is just a feeling, you know. I don't know if you could like represent this in the Bible if someone just being angry and just like kind of just being, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the point of contention is like if you act on your anger and you claim that it is because of righteous anger, is it then justified, you know?
I'm not really that worried about that. I'm more, because you can be angry about things that you shouldn't be angry at.
That's what I was
Right.
saying earlier. Yeah.
So I'm saying there's a difference between being angry at things you shouldn't be angry at and like, justified in your anger, you know.
Oh, examples?
If I'm angry at Ian because he has long hair, I feel like that's different.
Yeah, like what's some like prejudices? You're angry about someone coming into your store because they're a different race that you don't like, and you're angry about that.
Okay.
Is it wrong to be angry about that?